Dude, I haven't experienced something like that since like the Super Bowl or like the Super Bowl parade, I feel like.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Monster Monday presented by DraftKings. Use that code Ross. You guys know what to do there. New week means new shows, even money, fantasy feast, college draft, and we got my guy Beau Allen on today's show. I'm not messing around. It's big show time.
The Big Show.
All right, so I've known this guy for a while, but I didn't really get a chance to ever hang out with him until we had a pretty fun 2-day stint recently in Sea Isle City, the Jersey Shore, at a pair of Jason Kelsey events raising money for the Eagles Autism Foundation. I got to say this, Beau, I'm talking with Beau Allen, of course, former longtime NFL D tackle, Eagles, Bucks, Patriots. We'll get into all that. But Beau, that might have been, those 2 days combined, that might have been the most fun I've ever had raising money.
It was incredible. It was a lot of fun, man. The event at like the OD on Wednesday for Eagles Autism was dude, I haven't experienced something like that since like the Super Bowl or like the Super Bowl parade, I feel like. You know what I mean? It's just like thousands of Eagles fans screaming at us, asking for drinks, literally throwing money at us. It was incredible. And then what a double header, followed up by the beer bowl the next day for, you know, New Heights and all that. It was fun, man. But I'm happy. I'm up here in my cabin in northern Wisconsin right now. I'm trying to just chill for a little bit, you know, because those were an expensive 2 days. Like I'm a little beat up, man.
Well, it was great hanging out with you, man. You are exactly, you know what I like in life? I like when someone's sort of exactly what you think they are. like exactly what you are, exactly what I was expecting. I don't know how I related to what you were thinking.
No, I mean, dude, we had a good time, man. Like playing the beer pong after the events of the, you know, the celebrity portion of the beer bowl, like just the two of us, like that was fun, man. We had a blast.
I could have done that all night. Like that is literally, I'm 45, dude, and that's literally my favorite thing.
Yeah.
The only thing could have been better if maybe we were outside or like an open garage, but like outside, day drinking, beer pong all day. I could do it all day.
The best part too is like, you know, we're former, you know, professional athletes. Like we're competitive people, and everyone was like getting so into all these different, you know, beer pong, beer drinking games, flip cup. Like your celebration after that flip cup win, man. Like you were stoked. It's just fun when you see like a group of competitive people that take it all so seriously. Like what a good group. It was great.
Well, I said this to Jason and Travis in the video I submitted, and you'll experience this, Beau, but like every year I feel like you get away from playing. Yeah. You almost miss like having any, I mean, I'm like that. I'm just like that as a person, but like it's like my only competitive outlet. Like I don't really golf. I used to always think, I just said this to my daughters the other day. We went by at the beach. We saw all these guys playing pickup basketball, and I always thought that would be me, but no shot with my back and my right knee. Like I can't jump. Like I refuse to jump ever. It's just pain. So just seeing all these guys out there like playing pickup basketball, like there's a lot of things that I don't think I thought about it, because in the NFL I played 7 years, right? So like from when I was 22 to 28. So you don't think about the fact that, okay, just so you know, like what you're trading right now is you're not really going to be able to play golf. It's going to kill your back, and basketball's over for you. Like all those guys, like you thought you'd go to the playground Saturday mornings, like play pickup hoops in your 30s. Like that's not happening. And I guess I kind of knew that, Beau, when we were playing, but I don't know that I really, really realized it.
It's different when it sets in, man. And you know, the competitive outlet that's football and the intensity on a daily basis, like you can't recreate that in, you know, civilian life. So like that's why I've gotten really into pickleball. That's all I have, man. I take it so seriously. And I mean, yeah, you need to try to recreate those competitive moments, whether it's pick up basketball or like playing beer pong with with some friends, man. You gotta get it in somehow.
So wait a minute. You had a pretty bad quad tendon tear, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so that was the end of my career. I signed. So I was in Philly. I was drafted in Philly. Played there 4 years. Then I was in Tampa, 2018, 2019. Had a 2-year contract. Then I signed a good deal in free agency to go up to New England, and that was like the 2020. So I signed there in March 2020. That was the pandemic. It was kind of a frustrating set of circumstances for a free agent because like you sign in March, you want to get up there, get acclimated to a new team, meet everybody. But obviously there was a global pandemic, right? So COVID. So I couldn't get up there until August. And I immediately, like first week of camp, I injured my ankle pretty bad. Like I tore a tendon in my ankle. I'm like, I got this new team. Like it's COVID year. People opted out. Like I want to try to play. The D line I felt like needed me, and I wanted to. Like I've always, how it is when you're an interior offensive defensive lineman. You always have some sort of injury, so you just do whatever you can to play through it. So I tried to play through my ankle injury. Stupid idea on my part. I ended up getting activated off of IR for my ankle injury. And then like the first week I got activated, took on a double team in practice and just ruptured my quad tendon. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. But then so I had a quad tendon repair immediately done, and then an ankle surgery like 5 weeks later. And I was in a so I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this, but you got to tell me.
Try
Like,
not to. Try not to.
okay. No promises. I'll try. But I had both those surgeries, and I was in like an immobilizer on my knee and a boot on my right ankle, opposite, feet or opposite legs. And then at that point, I was just like, I can't keep having injuries like that. I think you get to a point in your career where, the injuries really start to compound. You're kind of compensating for injuries that you've accumulated over the course of your career. And, like we were saying, like you have kids. I currently don't, but at some point, like I want to live an active lifestyle and, not get to a point where I played football so long that I can't, be active and do that. It's just not really worth it. So that's kind of what was the driving point for me retiring from playing. So tough little stretch there in New England for me.
Man, two different legs too. That's
Yeah.
brutal. It's almost easier like if you had one good one.
You
That
ever,
is funny.
you ever watch Ace Ventura and he gets like the spear thrown in his leg and he's like, then he gets the spear thrown in his other leg. It's like, that's what I felt like. It's tough. Man.
Um, what's funny? I don't remember the first time, Beau. I thought, wait a minute. This injury is not just like, okay, sprained MCL out 2 or 3 weeks. Like the stuff we're doing is actually going to affect the rest of our life. Cause I
Yeah.
never thought of it that way. High school injury, college injury, like I never thought, well, how is it going to affect me when I'm 40? Like, but at some point when you're in your 20s, you're like, wait a minute, like this might be stick with me for a long time. That's great though that you can play pickleball, man. I wouldn't even I don't attempt anything
I think you can do
on
it, man.
hard ground, but even after the quad tendon and the ankle, you can play pickleball and you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, actually, part of the reason I was in Seattle, Connor Barwin had a charity pickleball event, and I've been like, I was, talking a lot of smack, like wanted to win it, and I did actually, so kind of the man. But
Oh,
no,
that's awesome.
yeah, I play a lot of pickleball, and it's, like I said, man, you get so used to as a football player, like every day you wake up, it's on the line, like I have to have a great practice, and kind of like what you're saying, you get this tunnel vision where, it's it's just all you can really think about. It's all you can focus on is, getting to game day or getting ready for camp or getting through camp. And you don't really worry about like those injuries and stuff like that. And so it's, it's just a different way of life without football. Like you got to take a little bit different approach, I think, than what you get used to be a successful professional athlete.
So, all right. So I know some of the stuff you're doing, but I know
Yeah.
people are always curious. I see some of the green light stuff. What are some of the things you got going on these days?
I mean, I'm trying to fill the football void with a lot of different stuff. I work with Chris Long on Greenlight. So part of that is I do video breakdowns just of like O-line and D-line play, kind of like intricate details of, what this guy's thinking pre-snap. Or one thing I was doing in the offseason is guys would sign with new teams, just like free agent fit, but kind of more like technique and scheme focus. Like how will Daniil Hunter fit it into D'Amico Ryan's defense with the Texans? Kind of stuff. So try to educate people on the finer points of really D-line play, but also like Kyle Long. I've had an O lineman come on and just gotten really specific into like I had AQ Shipley on, who's one of the smarter centers that I've ever played against. So just talk about, everything, the game within the game, fake calls, and all the little fun little chess matches that go on at the line of scrimmage between the O line and D line. So I love doing that. Do that for Green Light. Do a lot of stuff with Green Light. Chris has a Monday show that I go on a lot. It's kind of just fun media stuff. And the big thing for me is just stay involved with all my buddies I played with, and still do football in a limited, in kind of a more controlled capacity. So do that. I went back to school and finished my degree. I went to Wisconsin. So I did that for my first couple of years out. Really putting that to good use right now. But then other than that, just travel, catch up on lost time with friends and family, and try to do a lot of things I feel like I couldn't necessarily experience while I was playing because I was so committed to my training routine and football and stuff like that. So it's been a fun adjustment in retirement for me so far.
That's awesome. You also have multiple nicknames. Like I heard the guys on New Heights calling you Honey Bobo,
Hey,
but
Bubba,
then your Instagram is at the Butter King. So you got to explain these two to me.
Butter King. So Honey Bobo goes way back. That was Doug's first year in Philly. I don't know how this happened, but I got some reps as a goal line fullback, and we called the package, it was like HBO, like Heavy Beau. And then it's kind of just like somehow transitioned into Honey Bobo because like Honey Boo Boo was like this reality TV figure at the time that they thought I looked like. And there was this really funny clip of Doug on the sideline, like we're nearing the goal line. I think we're playing maybe the Browns in like 2016. It's a throwback. And he goes, Honey Bobo, where you at? Honey Bobo. And I just come screaming off the sideline, like report to go play goal line fullback. So that's where that one came from. And then the Butter King is just that's my post football. That's my retirement. Just got to recreate myself. So that's a bit that I've been doing for a long time. And I'm just the Butter King, man. Like it's just it's just my essence these days.
What does it mean?
It just means I'm buttery. I'm the king of butter. It started off as a nickname of my cabin because we were playing like yard games. And we got really into it, really competitive. And then like over the years, like when I went down to Tampa, we'd play a bunch of ping pong in the locker room, and we all like had different nicknames, stuff like that. And we would give each other these nicknames. And then I just really have leaned into it. So got the Instagram handle. I stole it from some kid that was mining butter on Minecraft. Yeah. So really, it's just a bit that I've like fully leaned into, and I kind of love it, honestly.
That is awesome.
I'm gonna start making up stories because like people keep asking me about this, and I'm like, the real story is really not that good. So like every time I've just decided, like every time someone asks me these days, I'm just gonna make up a new story. Like, oh yeah, like my family comes from Germany, and we made this, we had this butter monopoly way back in the day. And so like I'm the lost heir to this butter fortune. So like I'm just gonna say something different every time now.
Dude, so Beau, you'll appreciate this. I can't tell you how many times I have convinced people I'd never met before that my grandfather invented beer pong.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Yeah, no, it was over.
I believe you.
It was right after World War II. He was over in Germany, and and my buddies will always be like, yeah, no, he's serious. Like he takes it really like his and I'll be like, they'll be like, really? I'm like, yeah.
No, you did tell me that at the beer bowl. Hey man, I believe you. I'll run with that with you. I love a good bit. I'm all about it.
Hey, so when you look back on your career, all right, you made good money, dude. You got two, like, I mean, you had a good run in Philly. You won a Super Bowl. Then you got two kind of nice deals. Like as far as run stuffing D tackles go that have 7-year or whatever careers, you did pretty well for yourself, and you were a late round pick. Do you look back on it and think could have done more, exceeded expectations, like thrilled? Like what would be your perspective?
I mean, I'm very grateful. I never thought I'd play as long as I did. I never thought I'd make as much money as I did. I mean, it's funny. I joke a lot because I do those videos. I talk about like pass rushing and all this stuff, and it's like I had 2 career sacks or something like that, like 2 or 3 career sacks. But I think you might understand it's hard when you're playing it. You kind of convince yourself it's never good enough. Like there's always someone training to get better than you, or you can always play better. It's never really perfect, and so it's hard to get out of that mentality. I think you don't really enjoy your career from an overall perspective until you're done playing. And so that's what I'm trying to do. If you would have told me, as a as a rookie 7th round pick in 2014 when I was with the Eagles, like, hey, you're gonna play 7 years, you're gonna sign 3 contracts with 3 different teams, you're gonna win a Super Bowl in your home. Like our Super Bowl that we won was in my home state of Minnesota, which was so cool. I would have been absolutely thrilled, and so but when you get to the later part of your career, you always just kind of want more, and you always uh but reflecting on it, like I had such a good time. I played good football and met so many cool teammates and lifelong friends and had so many cool experiences. It's hard to not appreciate it. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it's a lot of it is like just your overall viewpoint in life, right? Like I could look back on it and say it stinks that my coaches kept getting fired and then I would have to get cut, or that I had the back surgery in Buffalo after I started 14 games, but like it's very easy to look at, and you can do the same. You could look at the career and say it could have done this. I could have made more money. I could have done that. This could have happened, but like ultimately I also could have gotten cut that first year as an undrafted rookie. Like I made the NFL undrafted rookie with Marty Schottenheimer with the Redskins 2000. Like that, my whole life would be different. You know what I
right.
mean? So like it's all a matter of, are you a glass half full or glass half empty person? I feel like.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is so interesting to think about how things could have gone, so differently with injuries or with like, but the thing that always sticks out is like as an NFL football player, you're always just one play away from either something great or something horrible. And it's just kind of fun to think about it that way. But no, to answer your question, like I love football. And you can tell like anytime I remember, on when we were in Seattle, we were chopping it up with I think it was me, you, Sidney Brown, and Kels, and just talking ball, man. And that's guys who love football and they want to be around players and they want to be around the game. I think that's what you really miss the most when you're done playing is just those kind of like daily interactions with guys that are all kind of cut from the same cloth, all molded by similar experiences and things like that. And that's what you got to try to get in when you're done playing. And that's why I'll go out of my way to go to, events like last week and, different, go out of my way to hang out with guys that I played with because you really do miss those guys.
Tell me about your perspective, and obviously your bias, but your thoughts on the value in today's NFL of a run stuffing defensive tackle, which is
Yeah.
basically what you were.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's it's hard because it's one of those things I think is you don't really like you don't really miss a run stuffing D tackle until like you have a game where a team completely controls the ball, they control the clock, they run 200 yards, and you're just not even really in it. I think you absolutely need a guy to protect the middle of the defense, but then again, there's certain schemes where you don't necessarily have that guy. But I think the bottom of the line is like you ever watch tape like football obviously it's evolved over the course of the last whatever 100 years, but the basic elements of the game are the same, and you need to have a physical presence in the middle of your defense or you're going to be exposed. I think that's pretty much what it boils down to for me. And I mean, even you see these teams that I don't know. I think that it's an important position. Is basically what I'm coming down to. And I don't necessarily think that it's going to be a premier position that's paid, but all the best interior defensive linemen, in my opinion, are guys that play the run really well and are committed to it, and are consistent in it. And that's what I think is the hardest thing because you can backdoor a block and make a TFL, a couple times and make those splash plays. But in my opinion, it's the hardest to just really buckle down and play your assignments and play your keys and play the defense over the course of an entire game and over the course of an entire season. I think about guys like Dexter Lawrence is a guy that I love to watch. And I wouldn't call him just a run stuffing defensive lineman, but he plays the run really, really well. And that's a huge part of his game. That's a huge part of that Giants defense.
What I thought you were going to say, and you're kind of getting there, is you don't really miss a run stuffing defensive tackle until you don't have one. You know,
Yes.
I mean, I mean, even 2 years ago, the Eagles, I can't remember who got hurt or what happened, but they were like, call Linval Joseph,
Right.
call Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be having this. They know, Howie knows the
Yeah.
value of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very important position. It's not going to be a premier, it's not going to be your highest paid guy in your defense, but it's one thing. I think, ask the guys on the defense around, like ask a middle linebacker what they think on first. And I think they'll tell you that having a guy like that is important. You just need a guy who's gonna really just buckle down in there and you're just protecting the interior of the defense, man. Like you need that, especially with a lot of these like zone run teams. Like everything cuts back and that backside A gap, backside B gap. You need a guy there.
You make a really good point. I got to have you on again sometime because there's like 20 other questions I could ask you.
I'm on vacation, baby. I got all the time in the world.
Our shows are 25 minutes, so I don't, but I want to have you again because I do think there's a lot to it in terms of how much is size
Yeah.
versus smarts. Like there's a lot of different, I guess I would say, layers
Yeah.
to that position and to it's like even like what you said about D lineman backdooring things.
Mm.
There's certain guys that maybe they're already paid or maybe they do enough stuff, but like people only see the TFLs they don't see the liability they are on like a bunch of other plays because they're doing their own thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guy like that. It's going to be feast or famine, and if you know that's coming, like if a guy tries that 3 or 4 times a game, like you're going to get gashed 3 or 4 times. But that one splash play is great for him personally. So it's a little bit of a double edged sword. But no, I mean,
you got to be unselfish. Like you were unselfish.
I took a lot of pride in just trying to basically just play as hard as I could, play smart, and do everything I could to fulfill whatever role I was asked to do. So that's you got to be patient at times because some of my best games I played, like I played trying to think, like I was always very proud. I had a lot of coaches that were, when you grade out post game, like a lot of coaches were very serious about your technique grades, whether you're doing what you're assigned to do on, any specific play. Took a lot of pride in grading out well. A little bit of a coach's pet, but hey, you're a white D lineman.
Yeah, dude, you have to be. You have to be. There's no question.
You gotta know your role. But like some of the best games I played, like played with perfect technique, won every rep, 0 tackles, 0 assisted tackles. The only tackle I got on this particular game I think it was against the Falcons in like 2019. I was on field goal and our extra point got blocked and I had to run like 80 yards down the field and I made a tackle on like the opposite 10-yard line, but it didn't even count in the stat sheet because it was a PAT. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the games that you have as a nose guard sometimes. Like you got to be patient. You got to understand that you're like fulfilling an important role in the defense, that it's really not about you. So that's just kind of how it goes as a run stuffing D lineman sometimes.
Check him out on social media. He's the man at Beau_Allen, Beau, by the way. Most of you know that. At the Butter King on Instagram. He's going to be on the show again at some point. But that way, if you follow him, you can see when he's doing this stuff for Greenlight. Thank you so much, Beau. Appreciate it.
Ross, appreciate it, man. Fun stuff last week. And anytime you want to have me on the show, you know where to find me.
Beau is awesome. He will be on the show again. Labatt Blue Light is awesome. They will definitely be on the show again. Had a bunch of Labatt Blue Lights over the weekend. Hope you guys did as well. Always enjoy responsibly. Delicious beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
Tux Takes.
All right, Ross, 3 items of note since we last talked on Thursday. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, he was spotted in a walking boot with a sprained foot. Vikings 4th-round pick cornerback Kyrie Jackson, he passed away over the weekend in a car accident. Really unfortunate news. And Rams agreed to terms with safety John Johnson III.
So the Dak Prescott news, I think Steve Fezzik pretty much broke that news on the Even Money podcast last week as he talked about bettors were taking the under on the Cowboys because they had gotten that information. So yet another reason to watch or listen to the Even Money podcast. Absolutely devastating news about Kyrie Jackson. I cannot even imagine what that's like for his family and friends. He gets drafted. He's in the NFL. His dream has come true. and then to have a horrific accident like this, it's what every parent absolutely dreads. And as for the Rams and John Johnson, feels like this happens a lot where a guy leaves to go somewhere else for a lot of money. It doesn't work out there. So he goes back to the team where he played well to get that big money in the first place. Other than that, I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network on Samsung TV Plus, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. We've been getting a bunch of people have been making orders for anniversaries and birthdays. Let's keep it rolling. Myfrontpagestory.com. Got some really exciting testimonials, people saying that their mom has read it like 3 times and cries every time. I love hearing that. Myfrontpagestory.com. And you guys know, by the way, my offer stands. You guys get one of these for someone in your life. Just forward me the email, ross@rosstucker.com, and I'll send you a signed press pass in the mail. Love backofficeschedule.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture,